Hello, we're live.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Orthodoxy Q&A. And in fact, to celebrate this, we have the new coach of the Buffalo Bills here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No,
Oh well. No.
sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry.
No, but Scott. Scott's a long time listener, first time caller. What was that off of? What show was that off of? Frasier. That's right. First time caller, long time. And Scott's been enjoying our show, and he brought us a gift. So I think.
Yeah.
Apparently, yogurt.
Yeah,
so
not quite.
We'll be sharing some yogurt here.
No.
All right.
It's something I'm sure you'll really like.
All right. Well, let's kind of see what we've got. So, Demos, how many episodes have we had?
Well, this is our 250th episode. Never imagined that we would get up this high. But this is our 250th episode, and we asked our chat, once again, we want to thank everybody for the wonderful, wonderful support. But we asked our chat a couple weeks ago how they wanted to celebrate, and we decided that we were going to do an Ask Me Anything, an AMA session. So if you have questions for Father Maggos, for Presbytero, I don't know why, for myself, type in a question in the chat and make sure you put the letters AMA at the beginning, and towards the end of tonight's episode we will be answering as many of those questions as possible. Also, brand new bingo is available, so click that link and play along. All right, Father, do the grand unveiling.
The grand unveiling. And so Scott, you did this for our 100th, and now for our 250th episode.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is really neat.
Awesome, very cool. Hey, Scott, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We really appreciate this. Made in Buffalo.
Yep, Cheektowaga.
Oh wow, okay, yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So in fact, we can get a stand too.
Oh, got the stand for it too.
Yeah, I will give you that. Okay, put that. 250. Thinking that we would not see 250. Wow. What?
Yeah, there we go. Congratulations, her Angelo. There we go.
All right, is that better?
That's better.
All right. And also, for our 250 episode, we have a giveaway. So this is a wonderful iconographical. Is that a word?
Hey, as long as people understand what it means.
Yeah. Iconographical book of 2,000 years of Orthodoxy. And so beautiful book with some wonderful templates in there of some of the icons, history of the Orthodox Church, liturgical items and all that. So this is our giveaway prize for tonight. Demos, what are we giving this away for?
Well, I thought you had a question you wanted to ask.
Well, we should have had time to think about that. All right.
All right. Well, I thought you had one. Okay. So give us a minute, and I'll think of a wonderful question to ask. But I really wanted to thank Scott for this wonderful gift.
You're welcome, Demos.
It's amazing, and we appreciate the support.
Yep. And it kind of shows off what we've done, which I really kind of like too.
The fact that my name is spelled correctly is already beyond a win.
Yeah, I know. We remember how you told the story about the demon.
Oh,
at Starbucks.
That still happens to me.
I'm sure it does.
I don't understand. I order something, I say my name, and then I get it, and there's an N at the end instead of an S. Like, how cruel do you think my parents were?
Well.
So, how are things in Buffalo?
Snowy.
Snowy?
More snow coming this weekend. Another storm.
That's one of the joys, I think, of having moved to Rochester is I'm not in Syracuse and I'm not in Buffalo in terms of the snow, because the snow kind of drifts south and then comes back up again.
Yes,
but you guys are right off the falls there. And
I mean, this past weekend they said we were going to get a storm started at like Sunday at 1. Nothing. Finally, Monday night we got some.
Jeez. Oh man. Oh man. And so I think we're getting our fair share more than we've had, because people, when we first got here, told us how deep the snow is, and it comes up above your head, and you have to put this antenna thing on your car, or they're not going to find it. And first, I've been here almost 8 years, and we've really had no real appreciable snow. So I thought, bunch of lies. But now it's actually,
Look at it outside right now. It's fluffy snow outside.
But yeah, that's right. It is snowing. I feel bad for your drive
it's
back.
coming down out there.
Yes,
so just as a warning, if for any reason this gets cut out at any point, it's because we may have lost power, because, like I said, that snow is pretty heavy. But no worries, we'll be back.
So good. Like I said, I'm glad that you made the drive over, Scott. It's always a pleasure to see you over here,
Father.
and I appreciate it. And we're gonna talk to you later.
All right,
huh?
sounds good.
All right, thanks.
All right.
All right, we'll do the switch over to Presbytera, and we have a lot of great questions in. I'm seeing some of those AMA questions already. So if you want to ask Father, myself, for some reason, or Presbytera anything, tonight's your night. You want to know what Father's favorite movie, his book, what his favorite breakfast food is, I don't care. Ask him anything. This is the night.
Lucky Charms.
Is your favorite movie?
Yeah.
All right. I do have some questions from this weekend, but I wanted to say hello and congratulations to Presbytera as well. Shall we jump in?
Why not?
All right. So, to begin, we had a question in from Skip Giblets over the weekend. I have some historical technical questions.
Uh-oh.
I'll ask. There are three main questions. I'll ask them each in order. When did catechumens become an identifier?
When did the word become an identifier?
Yes, sir.
So as far as I can tell, from the earliest writings that we have of the fathers, they always spoke about the idea of educating people in the faith. On top of that, if we look at the liturgy, the divine liturgies that we have, specifically of St. Basil, which takes us back to the 300s, there is the prayer of the catechumens. In the Greek Orthodox Church, that's only heard during the pre-sanctified liturgies of Lent. In the other Orthodox churches, the Romanian Church, the Antiochian, and the Russian Church, you'll still hear preserved that liturgy of the catechumens, and so that takes us all the way back to the 300s. All right, so. Katechoumeni is a very ancient Greek word, so it formerly was used in the early church around the 300s, but the use of that term to educate could go back all the way to the early church.
And when did they start being, quote unquote, separated?
So again, that goes right back to the liturgy of the catechumens, because in that liturgy, when that ends, you will hear the doors, in wisdom let us be attentive, okay? And that signaled to the deacons of the church that they were to gather the catechumens, take them out of the church, and that was the end of the liturgy of the word. Remember, the divine liturgy is divided into two parts. It's the liturgy of the word up until the gospel, and then after that, it becomes the liturgy of the Eucharist, okay? So in ancient times, they carried that all the way up until the reading of the Creed. The deacons would collect all of the catechumens, they would take them outside, they would go for their catechetical education, the doors would be shut, and then the liturgy would proceed, so that obviously the faithful could receive Holy Communion.
And finally, what did they do in the very early churches that met in houses or caves?
So since there wasn't really a well-developed rubric in the early church, when they met in homes, they gathered mostly for the agape meal. Now, there might have been some rudimentary education in terms of the teachings of Jesus, of the idea of how Jesus was the fulfillment of the Old Testament, because most of them were probably Jewish at the time, or education of the Gentiles in terms of what Jesus meant to them in terms of their religious faith. So there wasn't an established rubric yet for how liturgies were going to be conducted. I mean, the Didache even came in the early hundreds. So that even of itself was very rudimentary in terms of describing how a divine liturgy would be conducted.
All right, and Hunter wanted to know, what are you supposed to do while you're watching a church live stream at home?
Well, so first off, you should take a very you should take a position that makes you attentive. So what we're saying is, don't be laying down on the couch. Don't be cramming your face full of donuts. Maybe you're sipping on a cup of coffee. I get that. That's, I understand that. But you want to be respectful because you are still observing a divine liturgy. Okay. You may, at the time that the gospel is being read, you may want to stand. Okay, so that in imitation of what the people are doing there, that you do what you can to feel as part of the service, okay? Certainly at appropriate times during the service, as our parishioners do, you'd want to make the sign of the cross. But I'd say the biggest thing is not to take a relaxed attitude. You're not watching Austin Powers movie. You're not watching a James Bond movie. You're watching something that is truly divine, and treat it with the respect that it's due.
All right, and our final question from our Sunday service was from Cher Bear, who wanted to know, I don't have a head covering for church. Is that bad?
No, that's not bad. I don't have to ask whether you're a man or a woman. It is not bad. We have many of our women parishioners who do not wear head covering. That's tradition in the Russian and the Romanian Orthodox churches, but it has not been a tradition of late, and I mean like, let's say from the 70s or 80s on, that much of a tradition in the Orthodox Church, in the Greek Orthodox Church. If that's something that makes you comfortable, we have a number of women in our church that prefer to wear the veil, but they do it for their piety. They don't do it to show off. So if you want to wear it, it's perfectly acceptable to wear it, but don't wear it to show off some degree of piety. It is not required within the Greek Archdiocese.
All right. Well, let's jump into tonight's questions once again.
Oh, I thought we were done. Okay, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight.
We are going to go a little bit longer because, like I said, the last session is going to be an AMA Ask Us or Ask Me anything. If you have questions about me, Father, or Presbyterian,
we're having the American Medical Association on.
We are.
Okay,
yes, because we don't just care about spiritual health. We care about
mental and physical health too.
Yes,
very good.
There we go.
Right.
All right, let's jump into those questions, and I will think of a challenge question for that book. Presbyterian already shot me some suggestions. So.
All right. Okay. Our first question tonight is from Nick Carvelis.
Oh.
He says, greetings, everyone from frozen Wisconsin.
Whoa, yes.
And his question is, can you explain why, as Christians, we should thank God when bad things happen to us, sickness or some sort of misfortune? I'm having a hard time understanding the reason.
The question scared Father so much he left the room. Where is he going? I think he's running out the building.
Well,
I don't have the book. I brought it. Nope. No. So there's a book that I was that I had just started reading to become familiar with it again, and it's St. John Chrysostom's treatise called On the Providence of God, and in there he is writing to the Christians who were being persecuted for supporting him. He was writing this when he was in exile. And there were Christians that were being persecuted, and he was writing to give them support. And in that, he addresses just this point. And he says, how are we, well, let me go back. How are we to know what is in the mind of man? And if we can't even know what is in the mind of another man, or woman, doesn't matter, right? Okay, then how can we then contemplate the glory of God? And so his point was that we can't many times understand why God allows what he allows, okay? Sometimes it's because the prince of the world, the devil, is in control of the world. Sometimes it's to strengthen us because of a weakness that we have, and he's forging us in that trial, okay? But St. John's point is that we must always trust in the providence of God, that he has our best interest, and that we must continue to fight the fight. So it's not an answer in the rational and philosophical sense of I've provided you, here is why God does what he does. But it is the Christian answer, which is we cannot plumb the depths of knowledge of God. So that's what faith does. Faith allows us to have the ability to trust that what's happening to us is under the providence of God.
And sometimes people see us suffering, and when we're strong in our suffering.
Right, that we are an example to others through our suffering. Yep, exactly.
I think I've got a question. Now, Presbyter had a great suggestion, but I figured that since tonight the theme is Ask Me Anything, the question should be, and this will be great for our longtime viewers because I think they would have a very, very good guess.
Okay.
What is Father's favorite television show? Whoever gets that right will get the book. Don't.
No, I'm asking her what my favorite television show is. She knows it.
I'm sitting here thinking.
I know it's one of two.
I'm sitting here thinking.
Don't.
No, I'm thinking which one is. I have to think on that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. But once again, there'll be answers, so we'll find out.
We'll find out
one way or the other.
All right. All right.
But that last question is a really, really important question.
All right. Our next question comes from Medieval Guitar. Greetings, Father and crew.
Greetings.
Is there a difference between having an icon blessed during a house blessing and having it blessed by leaving it by the altar for 40 days?
No. A blessing from God, as I mentioned. Actually, this is a good question from the standpoint that I just mentioned this idea in my sermon of last week. So, one of the ways we distinguish between magic and mysticism is the idea that space and distance don't matter. So, if somebody thinks, well, because it's physically in the church, it is more blessed than Father coming and blessing the icon in my home, then they are mistaken, because the blessing that is offered is space and time, space and distance immaterial. It doesn't matter. So from that standpoint, wherever the blessing is received is a valid blessing.
All right. Well, while Presbytera does that, because we didn't want her to look like her head is cut off, we have a few answers. Costa V guesses MASH.
I don't think that one. No, that one's not.
That is not it.
Patty Peterson is the first in with many choices.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
Actually, examples of Star Trek.
Are we going to call that my...
I know one that you like better.
Better than Star Trek.
I know one that you like better than Star Trek.
Star Trek is right up there because, and again, I'm very particular about Star Trek.
Nobody said Next Generation. Nobody said Deep Space Nine. Nobody said any of the new.
Yeah, that's why I have to.
stuff.
It has to be qualified.
It's called Star Trek, so I assume it's the original series.
It has to be the original series. Although I do have to say that that the whole Borg thing was cool for me. I really did like that concept. That was totally radical for me.
Yeah, that was only like 6 episodes of Next Generation. It wasn't. They weren't in it that much. Shockingly.
Oh, okay.
And Cooking with Biba guessed The Chosen.
Well, again, good thought, but as a child of the '70s, that wouldn't be my favorite show. I mean, it's a good show.
I know what if someone comes up with this one, I know
this
that
is
will
gonna
be
be
the
it.
winner.
Is it?
It's a good show.
Maybe we can direct people a little bit and not take too much time. Is it from the same television era as the original Star Trek?
It is, right?
No,
It's
not really. Close, but not exactly.
Ooh, then it's not what I was thinking. This will be fun. Keep them coming.
Oh. Okay. No, I just figured it out.
Well, he doesn't know what his favorite. See, I always know.
But now I think I
know
figured it-
him better than he does himself.
Can you give us a clue?
Oh no, he's bad at giving clues. He'll
No,
just give it away.
not him. You.
Oh, me? Oh, I got to think about it because
Okay.
if I'll have to think about a clue without giving it away.
Okay,
All
I
right.
got it.
Next question.
All right, from Descoob. Sorry if I messed that up. What books are good in knowing about Orthodox theology?
Wow. Wow.
There's a great one in the link there's a link in the description.
Yes, that's right. The speaking of catechism book, right? Wow. There are some really, really great theology. He said, right? Probably. I would say the best one to start. I mean, oh well, I'm a little bit biased here, but this is the full version of the Exposition of the Orthodox Faith by St. John Damascus. What I'm saying is the Fount of Knowledge. That's the whole book. The exposition is a piece of it, but this is the whole book. All right. If you, in terms of theology, this has been the masterpiece from the Middle Ages. So St. John Damascus, Fount of Knowledge. And the reason why I say that is because you can't just jump into theology. What he does is, the Fount of Knowledge is he starts you off with how we use philosophy. A lot of people are really confused and think it's heretical that Hellenic philosophy has corrupted Christianity. But he helps define how philosophy was used by the fathers so that it could explain our Orthodox faith, especially when you're talking about difficult metaphysical concepts like substance, hypostasy, person, being, time, place. Those are difficult concepts. Then he takes you on an exposition through all of the heresies of the church. And then he gets into 3 books that describe the Orthodox faith. So I think that if this is probably the greatest starter book for somebody looking for theology. Now, in terms of just the Orthodox faith in general, that would be Presbyterian Matthew Frederick Green, which is Introducing the Orthodox Faith.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's good.
All right. Next comes from our friend Richard Rudolph. He says, Father bless, Lynn and Richard send their love.
We send our love to them.
If I could have one thing on this 250th special, it would be for Demos to get on camera for a minute and tell us about himself. So Demos, are you feeling brave?
I am always feeling brave, but it's been a running joke on this channel for 5 years that I would finally do a face reveal when we get $1,000 in super chats. I don't know if I should.
Oh, look at this. He wants that.
I don't know if I should break that. I might be tempted. All I can say is there is a camera that is ready at all times.
Yeah.
But I can also say there are a lot of great suggestions for your TV show answer.
Ah, okay.
So, Richard Rudolph guesses Starksy and Hutch.
Good show, but no.
Miggs guessed Andy Griffin.
Andy Griffith? No,
Yeah.
that would
Costa V guessed Gilligan's Island.
that might be 3 or 4.
Yeah, that would be 3 or 4 because I mean I can sing the whole song. I know pretty much all the episode. Well, President and I have a contest that within the first 3 to 5 seconds we have to guess the episode.
I usually win that one.
Would you say that Gilligan's Island is a great example of what the Catholics would describe as purgatory?
Could be.
Wow, and I thought it was heaven.
No, because they're stuck and they're trying to get out and move along.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yes, okay. Never thought of it that way.
All right, math help with Prof guessed All in the Family.
Now, my old man loved that.
I would say they're getting in
Yeah.
in terms of era. Gilligan's Island's probably getting closer.
Okay.
Right, but in theme, they're off.
Yeah. We have guesses for Dukes of Hazzard. And Therese may have guessed what I think is one of the possibilities. The Simpsons.
Yeah, well, but that came later.
Yeah.
So there was a show that I just really liked from a long time. So The Simpsons came later. So it's in the top 10 for sure. But
Classic TV. We're saying classic TV. Then.
Classic TV. I think once they were on that Starsky and Hutch, and then they're starting to move more correctly.
Well, we have a lot of questions. I don't want to spend too much time going through, so I'm just going to name a few, and you just tell me yes or no. Hawaii Five-0, Hogan's Heroes. Somebody said Star Wars. I don't think you're a fan of the new Star Wars TV series. Somebody guessed Monty Python.
Top 10.
We
Top
just
10.
went and saw Spam a lot. That's funny they would say that.
So give us a clue. You got to give us some
Is
clue.
none of those the show?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh, then
No.
I'm thinking of a completely different show.
It's
because I thought
genre. Give us the genre.
Okay, so the genre is along the lines of like somebody mentioned Starsky and Hutch, and then somebody mentioned Hawaii Five-0. Trying to think of.
Now I don't know what your favorite show is because I thought it was Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, well.
So I don't know what his favorite show is.
Well, he clearly does. So it's an action series. So it's like an action series?
An action series.
All right, he's going to write it down so I can see it. Let's continue.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Or
No, you can only have one.
No.
You can only have one.
Just one.
No, that I would say that's yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So our next one is from Gomi. And Gomi says, hello, God bless. Might not be able to join, but Father, how did you know being a... Sorry, there's a lot of laughter going on. How did you know being a priest was your calling? Did you have any doubts? And how were those doubts resolved? Also, what's everyone's favorite music genre? Well, that's kind of
that's an AMA question,
yeah,
right?
that would be an AMA about the music genres. We'll save that one. So how did you know being a priest was your calling?
Well, again, I didn't know. That's why I am so dedicated to the spiritual father process, because my spiritual father recognized it, not me. I really did not have any inclination about being a priest. I didn't talk about it when I was a kid. It was the furthest thing from my mind. You know, growing up, I wasn't as a great churchgoer. Certainly I wasn't a churchgoer, in college. Okay. When I got married, we started going to church, but it was like, so it just it wasn't anything that I had ever considered, but I had a good spiritual father, and he saw something and he cultivated it slowly. You know, he didn't just say, "Hey, I think you should be a priest." And I would have told him, you know what you're talking about. But he cultivated slowly, getting me involved, this, that. And then he said, you know, you might want to take the next step. And I said, next step? And he says, yes, this. Let's go to the school. Let's see what it's like, you know. And then I could see myself evolving into that. So from that standpoint, I am totally convinced that if you're Orthodox, you have to have a spiritual father because they will recognize things in you that you don't recognize yourself.
Well, if I could add, I mean, before he met his spiritual father, you were involved in church. You were helping the priest at the church in...
yeah, well, I'm saying when we were married, I started getting involved again in the church.
You were chanting. You were helping out every weekend. You were getting involved at that time.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, but not with the intent to become a priest.
No,
I was just helping, right?
Okay.
Somebody got it.
Somebody got it.
Somebody got it. We had a lot of suggestions.
Who got it?
So, two people guessed this. I'm going to go with the first person I see. Raven Giuliani guessed, and I agree, this is one of the greatest, it might be my favorite show, too. Columbo.
That is, I mean, now, and again, there's a background there because that is one of my premier memories with my mom. My mom and I watched Columbo. Oh, okay, yeah, I can't. We watched. You know, she loved all the crime shows. You know, she watched Perry Mason. She watched Streets of San Francisco. She watched Ironsides.
A bunch.
Longstreet. Longstreet was the blind guy, right? Longstreet, the blind guy.
Yes, he was blind. Yes,
you know, funny enough, I recognized every single show up until you asked me that one show.
Oh, yeah.
And he had the German Shepherd, I think.
I had the German. Yeah. So, you know, McLeod, all of those. Anyway, so, but watching Columbo with my mom is one of my best memories. And plus, I thought the show was so well done. You know who the killer is up front, and you just watch Columbo break them down. I love that.
The original 70s run is unparalleled.
Yes, the 90s were.
Yeah, got a little...
And of course, there was My Partner, the Ghost.
Who was that?
It was the person that died. He came back as a ghost.
Oh,
and he was
yes. Yeah.
He was the private investigator.
Yeah, very, very different from Bill Cosby's ghost dad. Yeah. All right.
So,
shall we?
Yes, let's move along. Let's see.
Congratulations, though. All right, nicely done. They're the winner of the book, right?
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
They're the winner of the book. And please email us at agocny@gmail.com. You'll be emailing Father. We'll make arrangements for you to receive your prize. Congratulations.
It's really, really just a gorgeous book.
All right. Cooking with Bee-Bug says, good evening. What is a sacrament or holy mystery in the Orthodox Church? What does the Church actually mean by calling something a holy mystery? And how do the 7 sacraments fit into this understanding rather than being treated as a fixed or purely legal list?
So, interestingly enough, the idea of overly defining the sacraments led Luther to radically oppose what the Catholic Church was doing, and talked about the idea that the only sacraments to be recognized in the faith are baptism and the Eucharist, and that even those could be performed by a lay person and did not need to have a ordained minister or clergy to perform those. So not defining sacraments correctly can be problematic. All right, so...
I should point out, I put it on the bingo card. If you take too long to look something up, it's a square now.
Well, that should be it.
So
that should be the center square.
So our Holy Cross School of Theology, all right, taken from the Fathers again, The sacraments of the Church not only disclose and reveal God to us, but they serve to make us receptive to God. Through that grace, we can connect with God. They are special experiences in our corporate life as Orthodox Christians when the perceptions of God's presence and action is heightened and celebrated. Sacraments affect our personal relationship to God and one another, and by receiving the sacraments, we grow closer to God, and this process we call deification.
I just have to point out, we started tonight's show with Scott and I cracking jokes about the one time at Starbucks somebody misspelled my name as Demon, and I look into the chat, and then I see it happen again. Patty, you know what you did. It's all right. I know it was a mistake.
All right. Next one comes from Renos. Hi there. Really curious about this. I have seen videos on YouTube about who the angel of the Lord is in the Old Testament. For example, between Genesis 16, 7 through 16. Is this in line with our beliefs that this is the word of God and or God/Jesus Christ?
So the answer to that is yes. Stephen DeYoung, in his book God is a Man of War, talked about this idea that in the Old Testament we have a very clear perception of a biune God. So that because he does speak continuously about this idea of angel of the Lord, but he also speaks about this sonship. He speaks about his spirit. So we have this idea in the Old Testament, not necessarily of a defined Holy Trinity, but of this biune God, that we have God the Father, but then we also have then his expression or his action, and that action then becomes or is then Jesus Christ. And that's why we have this beautiful icon where Jesus Christ as the Logos, the Word of God, creates what God has willed. So the creator is the physical act of creation is done by Jesus Christ himself. And it is the will of the Father that brings that about.
All right.
All right, we have a $5 super chat from our good friend Tommy. Tommy, always good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a danger in times of prosperity and peace of forgetting that God provided this, or a danger of becoming over prideful?
Oh, 100%. And I think that happens the vast majority of time. It happens in peaceful times, because in peaceful times we don't really have that suffering that comes about when we have to defend our faith. You know, I mean, we're in this. And let's say take America, which I know best, all right? That we can live this very relaxed life. We just go on day to day, and we're not being necessarily persecuted by anybody. We're not being arrested. We're free to go and do whatever we want. We can eat in any restaurant. There's always food on the table. So again, we become very comfortable in this lifestyle, and without that degree of suffering, then our mind pulls away from God. And for that reason, that's why Lent is so important for us, because at least through the act of fasting and increased prayer, then we have a physical reminder of the fact that we should be connected to God. So especially in times of peace, we can become very spiritually lazy. Well, we can become physically lazy too, but we can start to depend more on ourselves than on who actually sustains us on a daily basis, which is God. In times of war, I think we become closer to God. Look at the examples that we've had in history. Certainly, the most recent thing that has brought us together is probably 9/11, right? So, because the churches were packed after that. So anytime that we experience suffering, we experience the weakness in ourselves and realize that we cannot solve these things ourselves. And so we recognize that it is through God's grace that we live. So actually, in times of war, in times of suffering, that's when we really experience and desire the glory of God.
All right. From Marcello, how does the Orthodox Church understand the meaning of dreams? If someone experiences a dream in which Christ or a saint appears, whether as a peaceful vision or as a frightening or disturbing experience, can such dreams ever be spiritual warnings or signs of good to come? Or does the Church generally caution against interpreting dreams in this way?
Okay.
If I may add, Aaron, who also said, to many more episodes, which we appreciate, he also asked, what would the Church's view on gut feelings or when we feel premonition about things? So I think these two kind of go together.
Okay. And just give me a second here.
And once again, we are going to go a little bit longer tonight. During the last half hour, we'll be doing our best to answer all these wonderful AMA questions. And I saw what you tried to do, Costa. His question was, hey, Father, what's your favorite TV show? Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. How are we doing there, Father?
I knew we have to be careful about interpreting dreams.
And I'm just...
And we got a version of this question last time as well about people who see their relatives in their dreams, particularly a mother or father after they have passed away. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a common thing.
St. John Damascus, in his Ladder of Divine Ascent, actually addresses dreams, and it's in the chapter of banishment and living as a stranger in the world. Okay, banishment implies that we forever leave the things of our past country which hinder us, very similar to God calling Abraham out of his country of origin and then moving him into a strange land. Okay, in that, okay, he says, something needs to be said about dreams in order that we may not be in the darkness about this ruse of our cunning enemies. He says, a dream is the product of the mind while the body is dormant, a fantasy, a vision of the eyes when the mind is resting, and is a raptured state when the body is not asleep. Okay, and it manifests something which in reality is not there. When we depart from our dwelling place and from our relatives, we banish ourselves into exile for the love of God. Then the demons try to excite us with dreams. They show us our relatives. They show us in this state and hold us in bondage. The one who trusts in dreams is like the one who runs after his own shadows and attempts to catch it. You mentioned pride. The demon of vainglory, pride, will prophesize in dreams, and being cunning, he makes conjectures about the future. If these prophecies happen to come true, we are astounded. We are jubilant that we have the ability to foretell the future. And this demon becomes the prophet in whom we trust. But he always lies, since he is the demon's spirit. And when he notices that someone is near his end, he will prophesy in dreams. But demons do not know anything about the future from foreknowledge. They do not have that ability. So I thought I wanted to read that because St. John specifically talked about that we have to be very careful because we can get caught in this idea that we're trying to overanalyze our dreams. And if we listen to what he said, okay, about when we try to become strangers in our own land and exile ourselves for the love of God, then the demons redouble their effort now to come back. And the way to come back is they come back in dreams and then make these conjectures about the future. Now, they don't have knowledge of the future, but if it turns out right, then we begin to put our trust or misplace our trust.
What about gut feelings or premonitions?
Okay, and I think Terry's going to speak to that because you've told me many times, because we watch all these crime shows, right, that in most of these cases, didn't the woman have a premonition or she had a gut feeling that something was wrong? And how many times have you said, hey, why didn't she listen? You have it quite a bit right, when you go out, right? You have a feeling. Oh, you say something.
Well, you give me a chance.
Okay. Have that.
Well, I'm saying that is a gift to women being, I hate to say the weaker sex, but we're not as strong as men. And one of the things that we get because that is we are given the gift of gut feelings. And not that men don't have it, men can also have it, but women especially, I think
we're not attuned to it. I don't think
we can feel it, and a lot of times when women, they think, oh, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I was nervous. I didn't want to embarrass somebody, and they ignore it and they get in trouble. And unfortunately, in today's age, women are being taught to ignore their gut feeling, and it can lead to a lot of
dangerous situations.
But yes, a gut feeling in certain instances is actually a gift. Anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I was going to add something. How do you respond? And I'm going to be vague here, but if you can probably guess what I'm talking about. How would you respond to a media figure who says that a recently deceased person is talking to her in her dreams?
Then I'd go right back to this. This is a vision of the demon, because they can at least read some of your thought. They have some idea, right? And they can say the right things and just make you think, like the horoscope, right? You read the horoscope and it's written in such a way
I don't read it.
I'm saying you can read it, right, in such a way that really happened.
I am going through hardships.
Right. Yeah.
How did they know?
How did they know?
Well, also, we cannot speak with the dead. The dead cannot communicate with us. It's that is not possible. God does not allow that. So,
he does allow, because the saints have spoken to people living. St. John Chrysostom, the Virgin Mary, they have spoken to us, but this is something that God allows for a specific purpose.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right. From Hal C9C. Yes. Why was St. Mary of Egypt prevented from entering the church, yet now people, not better, the same, I think they're saying, but enter the church with ease? Point is, a lot of stories are obviously made up, one example of many. So why was she prevented from entering the church when other people who, have their issues can just go in and out of a church?
So again, and I'm just reading here in the Synaxarion, okay? So and again, I'm not trying to say this is the answer, but in the case of Saint Mary, okay, she had left her parents at the age of 12 to go to Alexandria, where she spent the next 17 years in debauchery and the greatest, what is that word?
Profligacy?
Profligacy. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. She offered her body to any man, not being forced to it by necessity, as were poor women, but as though she was consumed by the fire of desire that nothing was able to appease. So the Synaxarion explains to us the depth of the passion that she was in, okay? And then it says, okay, she followed the crowd when she arrived in the holy city, okay, and it being the day of the exaltation of the cross, she reached the threshold of the church and invisible force prevented her from entering, okay? And so, left alone, she began to realize that it was the impurity of her life that was preventing her approaching the holy wood. Christ does that to us all the time. Now, in this case, it was a physical impairment, meaning that she physically could not enter. And so this is the method that Jesus Christ used to bring about her conversion, for her to recognize what it was. Now, in today's time, it could be something. There could be something like a fall. Okay, it could be a traffic accident. It could be the diagnosis of cancer. All right. So these are things that are an impediment and a block, just as much as physically not being able to go into the church. The lesson that we're to learn here is that God chooses how He will wake us up, if I can use that term, okay? And in this case, the depth of her passion was so deep that this needed a physical reminder, or I want it even more than a reminder, a physical, what's the word I'm looking for here? A physical obstacle that would get her to recognize the impurity of her life, okay? And that's when she burst into tears and cried out for the Mother of God, okay? And then prayed with tears of repentance, and suddenly she felt freed from the power that had held her back and was able to enter the church. So we 100% believe that this story is true because many people have experienced the same type of obstacle, meaning that they were prevented from doing something, and that if greatly affected the physicality of their lives.
Sorry, I was trying to hold it. I was trying to hold it in. What do you think? Also, that that God used that so that she could go on and become a great saint, kept her from going in, so that.
Oh, that she would recognize the power of God, right? And that, and yes, because then she went on to become one of the greater saints, right?
Yes. Okay.
Also, as a quick reminder, the last half hour we are going to be doing our AMA questions. So if you have any questions for Father, myself, or Presbytera, feel free to ask in the chat. Just tag AMA at the beginning of your question.
Uh-oh. I have...
You had to reset?
I pushed something and I went out. Sorry. Can you ask the next question while I get back on track?
I will. One moment.
I don't like this mouse. It's
So I'm going to bring the mics that we have.
Oh, beautiful. We just got a super chat from Nia Opsis for $10.
Oh, thank you very much.
I will have my first meeting with the priest at my new parish after moving. I feel I may have overheard about my sinful life last time. No, sorry, my bad. I feel I may have overshared about my sinful life last time. Any advice with how much to share during my first meeting?
So, I hate to put it this way, okay, but in some respects, to be very businesslike about it, the first meeting should be treated like an interview, okay? Ask the priest, okay, confession is new to me. I'm not sure what the process is. When I ask questions, how would you like me to present the questions? What is it that you want me to ask? Myself, I always make the first meeting just about what confession is and how the process of confession works, just so that I can get the person relaxed. I don't want to have the first person's experience, okay, so tell me about the sinful things you've done in your life, okay? And then I get a pad and pencil and write all this down. And then it makes them uncomfortable, all right? So, that's the way that I learned from my spiritual father. So obviously there are priests that do that just make that the confessor comfortable. Okay, if the priest doesn't do that, doesn't have this introductory program, then you have to do it, okay? And you say, hey, I'd like to know how the process of confession works with you. How would you like me to ask these questions? What kind of depth would you like me to ask? Okay, and then using what Terry said before, using that gut feeling, when the questions are getting too deep, okay? If you confess, for example, a sin of a sexual nature, okay, all you have to do is give the general idea of why this troubles you. If the priest now starts to ask questions about the details of this sexual exploit, then he's out of line. That's inappropriate, okay? And you have a gut feeling that says, this feels a little weird to me, all right? And you are allowed to say that in confession. I'm sorry, Father, but I feel that question was inappropriate. I think that you have enough information to help me get over what you know to be is an issue with sexual lust. You could be very frank, okay? So certainly we need to be respectful of the priesthood, but also the priesthood needs to be respectful of our human nature and who we are. Okay, so it's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. And you have every right that if you feel that it's inappropriate to say that, and then the priest will respond, okay, and say, I'm sorry. Or the question can be, why do you need that level of detail? Don't be afraid. Say, why do you need the level of detail? And if he refuses to answer, then you leave. I mean, it's as simple as that. Okay, but normally speaking, you need to give only the amount of information that allows the priest to understand what the nature of the sin is, but he doesn't need all of the extreme details of what that particular sin is.
Real quick, because this may not appear as a question, so I'm just going to ask it. It's our young friend Luke, 12 years old. He is concerned. I don't think my dad will let me get this book, an Orthodox book, since he does not let me buy Orthodox stuff.
Okay.
Since my family is Protestant Baptist.
Yeah.
How would you advise Luke?
So, Luke, again, I have to say that, we are bound by the commandment of honor thy mother and father, okay? And your parents are doing what they feel is the best for you, okay? And you have to honor that, all right? So the only thing I can tell you at this point is that I want you to continue the discussion about why you feel Orthodox is important and enter into dialogue with them. The wrong answer is to go behind their back and find this book and then read it on your own and all of that, okay? Because then they're going to feel betrayed, all right? The adult thing to do is to enter into dialogue and talk with them about what are the benefits, what is the glory of Orthodoxy. That's what you need to talk about, okay? And if you don't know what the glory of Orthodoxy is, then talk to your parents and say, this is something that I want to investigate. And let them tell, you're old enough now, 12 years old, you're not 5, 12 years old, you're allowed to ask a question like, why can't I study Orthodoxy? And then that's how you're going to get that debate. But the wrong thing to do is just to disobey them and now try to do all of this on your own. That's not the Orthodox way.
We have a $5 super chat from Tommy Williams, which I'm a little bit blown away by, I have to admit, because right as the show was starting, this is the exact topic that Presbytera and I were discussing, and it is so darn specific. Tommy, are you in the room somewhere? Anyway, if a church is destroyed in a situation such as a war or fire, if the church is rebuilt, does it need to be consecrated again, especially a new altar?
That is strange. Yeah,
that is wild.
That was one of the questions I was thinking of for the book.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, well, specifically, what do you do with the altar?
Okay, so if the church is burned?
Yes, so if the church is burnt or destroyed and needs to be rebuilt, does it need to be consecrated again, or especially the altar? What do you do with the new altar?
Well, obviously, it's going to depend upon what the situation of the altar is. In the church in Flint, okay, the altar was marble, and so we took the altar apart and we moved it to the new church, so our new church could not be reconsecrated because the altar had already been consecrated. What we did was the Theranixia, which was the opening of the doors. If, let's say, like in the situation of Kalamazoo, where the altar is wood and it was consumed in the fire, now a new altar needs to be built and then the church would be consecrated. The altar is consecrated, the church is blessed or sanctified.
All right. I am not getting these questions back. I have been looking at
It's all right. I believe Ren had a question specifically. What type of incense do you use in the church?
Actually, now we've started to buy non-hyperallergenic incense that we get from, I believe it's Ethiopia. And it's rose and frankincense and myrrh.
Yes.
We three kings of Orient.
Some of it's quite strong too.
Yeah. Yes. The rose can be kind of strong.
All right. I'm still working on these questions.
All right. We have a great comment from our good friend Gus. Congratulations. I've been watching the rebroadcast. Haven't been available on Thursdays, but you're here today. Well, you couldn't be here for a more fun episode.
All right. Yes.
So, and we have a $5 super chat from B_Ryan, who says, and thank you once again, new convert to the Orthodox Church. I'm still learning. Is there any difference in when we use the plain candlesticks versus the red glass candles?
Okay, so the candle changing color is something that we did in our last church, and I liked it, so I brought it here. So here they only had the red candle, but I like the idea of a physical item that indicates that the season of the church has changed. I like because those two candlesticks are right in the front of the church. So when you see the color change, you ask yourself, why is the color different? And the color is different because we're in a different season. Green, Pentecost; red and green, Christmas; blue, we're celebrating something about the Theotokos. So typically during Assumption.
There's a possibility that the question is referring to the plain narthex candle versus the red, when you should use one or the other.
Oh, is that what the question is?
I think that's a possibility.
Oh,
because when I read plain candlestick versus the red glass candles.
All right. So the narthex candles, what we call the pencil candles, the very thin ones. Okay, those are typically for an individual short prayer. Okay, you come into the narthex and you want to pray for your mother, father, sister, brother, daughter, whoever that is, or you pray for yourself. Okay, you want to pass a test. You want your surgery to go okay. Whatever that prayer is, and it could be just a prayer of peace. I've been really stressing out. I just want to be peaceful for this hour and a half. So it's a very personal prayer. The glass candles, those are for specific purposes. The candles on the right are in memory of somebody that has passed away, whoever that is. The candles on the left are a 7-day prayer for the living. So that's usually some more that's a deeper issue. So somebody is going through surgery, okay, and that surgery is very intensive, okay, and that's going to be conducted over a number of days, and then they're in recovery. So a 7-day candle holds that prayer. You mean to hold that prayer for a number of days rather than just for, let's say, just the service itself. Okay, so people will light those candles on the left, usually for somebody who is going through some type of long-term recovery.
And that was the question.
Okay, that was, all right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think I've lost a lot of the top questions. The top question I have.
Did you ask the St. Mary of Egypt question?
Yeah, I asked that one, and so the next one I'm having showing up is from Reexamination Show. Go for it. Okay.
Reexamination.
All right. Sorry for all if I missed it. I don't know what happened to this computer, but all the questions disappeared. So I have the question is, how does Mark 6 make sense concerning Herod's brother having a wife, if only the Eastern Orthodox Church can make marriages in the eyes of God? It's what I hear from the Ortho Bros.
Oh, Mark 6?
Mark 6. How does Mark 6 make sense concerning Herod's brother having a wife?
Did you ask a question?
No, I did not.
So what are we looking for, Father?
Well, he just said chapter 6. So I mean it now. His name is. Okay,
Herod's brother having a wife.
Right. So Herod himself had sent laid hold of John and bound him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. And John had said to Herod, "It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife." And then and then Herod's wife held it against him, wanted to kill him. Okay, so now I'm trying to understand the context of the question then. Okay, so
It just says, how does Mark 6 make sense concerning Herod's brother having a wife, if only the Eastern Orthodox Church can make marriages in the eyes of God? But was that Herod's brother's?
yeah, but again, I mean, in this story, they're Jews. They're not Orthodox. I mean, Orthodoxy didn't even exist then. I mean, the church, the church on earth had not existed. So Philip is not held accountable to Orthodox standards.
Okay.
All right, we have a $20 super chat from our good friend Gus. Just the super chat. He did wish us congratulations earlier. Thank you again. We also have a $10 super chat from our good friend Miggs.
Thank you, Miggs.
Who states, there is something beautiful about having a 12-year-old finding the show, continuing to watch, considering the content available to our youth these days, and wanting to learn and buy books about Orthodox.
I do. I think it's great that he wants to do that, but I want to do that without having betrayed the trust of his parents.
Beautiful.
All right. Our next question is, let's see. There's a lot of...
A lot of people were guessing.
Yes. Sorry, trying to find...
Now, I got Athena K's question here. What is the short, undisputed answer
That short does not exist on this show.
to show that Orthodoxy is the way, and the other denominations that try to disprove Orthodoxy is the way? For one, non-Orthodox Christians, and two, other Orthodox like Rokor.
So actually, this one does have a short answer. The answer is not through reason, through experience, okay? Nobody is going to reason you into Orthodoxy because you're always going to have some argument against it. The answer is you have to experience Orthodoxy. All of the catechumens that have come through and into our church have all said the same thing. It is the beauty of Orthodoxy that I experienced and the people themselves that have brought me to Orthodoxy. Not because they read a special book, not because they enjoyed my sermon. Most people don't listen to the sermon anyway, all right? So nothing reason-wise has brought them to the church. It's the experience.
All right.
We have a $2 super chat from Tommy.
All right.
How much for a Demos face reveal? We have $65 in so far. I did say 1,000.
No, wait a minute now. But you're already at you already have 700, so it's only 300
well,
away.
No, that was that one.
No,
right?
no. You got to. It's cumulative, man. Come on.
Cumulative, or is it in one night?
No, come on. I'm not going to pay $1,000 to see his face.
You get to see it for free.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm not paying $1,000
Well,
to see it.
if Father gives it to me, I'll accept. I'll say. Tommy goes on to say, we never see the. Oh, I shouldn't. Anonymous hero. Oh, thank you.
Ooh, oh. Don't make his head too big, okay? All right.
Yeah, because I need to fit it on the camera.
Yes, that's right.
For the eventual face reveal.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Our next question, Wesley Brown. How does I think it's Oriental Orthodox, it's OO. How
Okay.
does the Oriental Orthodox and the Eastern Orthodox officially see the division of Chalcedon, or is it Chalcedon? To me, it seems like the word nature, when the Chalcedon Council stated two natures, even though in one nature caused the Oriental Orthodox to reject.
And I just had this, and I don't think that's. I think that's an addition I'm going to have to put into the Catechism book here. And just as with the Filioque, where we have an issue with understanding terminology, the resolution of the Monophysite controversy is going to be one of terminology, in that I believe that the Oriental Orthodox have said, yes, there were two natures. Christ did have two natures, but the human nature was or could not be unaligned from the will of God. So therefore, it's only one nature. I believe that's what it is. So where they both agree that yes, he did have a human nature, he did have a divine nature, but they're saying that the human nature could have no other way than to be aligned with God, like the first Adam originally. And so they say from that standpoint, it really is only one nature. So I believe that's where the alignment will come, is understanding that terminology.
All right, we have a 10-pound super chat from
Holy smokes.
From Teresa. Thank you so much. No question, but I'm
10 pounds is awesome.
I'm gonna try to find a comment or question from earlier.
Is it the Scottish pound?
I just see what I think looks like the pound sign. I could.
And behind every English register is a Scottish person waiting, so that when they present that Scottish pound and the cashier says, "I'm sorry, but I can't take this. This is England," he'll jump out and say, "That's actually good." Remember that
Yes.
that skit?
You know, funny enough, that's also a square on the new bingo board. So I'm going to try to ask some of these earlier questions. We're having trouble with the order tonight. I want to make sure everybody's covered. From Carol Weaver, is it all right to meet in a small Greek Orthodox church once a month if the priest has a large church in the city and this people in small town need and want the church too? Enough. Is it okay once a month?
Oh, you mean to have a service? Yeah. In fact, that's I don't want to say if it's very common, but certainly when I was in Michigan, we had several churches in northern Michigan that just couldn't afford a priest, and so there was a priest from the parish, from one of the neighboring parishes, and he would go up there once a month on a Saturday, and he would conduct liturgy for them. So that's not uncommon to do.
And Teresa is from England, and she does have a comment. She just wanted to say congratulations on our 250th special. Thank you so much, Teresa, and shout out to England.
All right. So, yeah, did you want to say thanks in English?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm going to ask this one more question.
Cheers, mate.
Then we're going to
No,
bounce back to you,
that's
Presbyter.
Australian.
So from one SWM, hello, Father and Presbytera. I'm wondering if there is a book that identifies when to bow, cross oneself, and do full prostrations during the various services.
Yes, I have it right in here. I actually have all three of those right in here under the section of Orthodox practices. When should I make the sign of the cross? Okay, types of prostrations and how they're used in the church. And what was the third one? Make the sign of the cross, prostrations, and
when to bow.
Oh, and that's
Yeah,
I got it all in here.
They have prostrations and bow at the same.
Yeah, okay. So I have those specific cases right in the book.
You know, funny enough, there's a link to that book in the description of this video. Wow.
Very good.
We actually, funny enough, we try not to talk about it too much, but it's, you know.
But that whole section on Orthodox practices, I have not found in other catechism books. They talk a lot about the history of the church. They talk about the theology of the church. They talk about the sacraments of the church. But, you know, when you first walk into an Orthodox church, if you're uninitiated, there's a lot of stuff going on that's confusing, you know, and I want a handbook that tells me, hey, when should I do this? And when can I sit down? And when can I stand up? How do I make the sign of the cross? A lot of technical issues. And that's why, from my engineering perspective, it's called handbook as opposed to theological guide.
One last of the early questions, and we'll bounce back. PF Stats asks, for argument's sake, let's say there is no afterlife. Then Christians kind of help improper people progress while hindering other Christians, which may, while hindering Christians who may see it that way. How is that act for nothing beneficial?
Well, the starting premise is false. Right. I mean, what was the starting premise? If
there's no afterlife.
If there's no afterlife. So I can't answer the question because there is an afterlife. I mean, so it's not a valid hypothesis.
But I wouldn't base whether or not I help people on the outcome of the afterlife. That's the again, we're back to the Pascal's wager, right? Yeah,
I'm doing this because it gets me into a heaven.
I mean, that's not the reason you should be helping people, because I want to be in afterlife. That should not be your number one reason for doing that.
Right. And in fact, even Christ himself tells us that by the love you have for your brother, you will be known as my disciple. So he's not saying do it and then you shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. He's saying because of the act that you do in its purest altruistic state, that's how you will be known as a Christian.
All right. I think that covers some of the ones that we missed from earlier.
All right. The next question comes from Nikki Chamberlain.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Nikki. She says, congratulations on the 250th episode. Would you please explain the prayer that you say for the soul to leave the body, to separate from the body, that's read to someone who is close to death? Who wrote it and where did it come from?
Okay, the who wrote it, that's a good question, because the Euclid, or the Orthodox priest's prayer guide, is a collection of prayers that has been taken over the history of the church. So I don't have I don't have an author of that particular prayer. And then as terms of the prayer, where did it go?
Bingo.
Yeah, that was 3 times. That square still exists.
That has to exist.
Funny enough, one of the AMA questions is about how Father finds his books. So I'm looking forward to answering that. In the meantime, while Father's doing that, we have a $5 CA. What is Canadian? A $5 Canadian super chat from, let's see, Aaron Lind Digmaya. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. A simple note of thanks for opening this space for us to pose our questions. It has personally helped me so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. When we get messages like that, it galvanizes us to continue and do this. So we really, truly appreciate it.
The reason I'm stalling is because in Vaporis's Euclid, that prayer is not in there. It's in Constantino's book, and I don't have a copy of Constantino's book. So that's why I'm just going to see really quick here. Orthodox prayer of separation.
And one of the questions was, while you're looking that up, was the name of the book. I'm not sure if they were referring to the Catechism book or...
Well, the Catechism book, it's a Father's Handbook for Catechism. The link is actually in the description of this video. You click it, and it'll take you to an Amazon link where you see Father Angelo's work. How are you doing there, Father?
I think I've got it. I wanted the one that this is the OCA one. The OCA, the Greek is always the shorter version of the prayer, and the OCA and the Russians are always the longest version of the prayer. In fact, we just did this, right?
Yes, not too long ago.
Okay, so she's asking about
where did it come from?
Okay, which again.
And what is the prayer?
So, and what is the prayer, right? So, and I was hoping that they would have had something about where this comes from, and they don't. They just go right into the prayer. Okay, so the prayer is a very important prayer from the sense that it is liberating to the family. Okay, so when somebody is near death, usually people are very nervous about what to pray for, okay? Especially if the person is in the end state, as we would say in Greek, etimo thanatos, ready for death, all right? And they don't know what to do because they're torn. Because on one hand, they want to end the suffering of the person because they see that this is a point of no return and the person is suffering. At the same time, they feel bad about praying for the death of a loved one. So they're in this tension. All right. And so the priest is an important component of that because they ask me and they say, Father, please pray for Joe. All right. And so now I ask them, what do you want me to pray for? And they're very surprised by that because they don't know that they have a choice. So they ask, what do you mean? And I say, do you want to pray that God saves him? Or do you want to pray that God ends his suffering? And most of the time, they will say, please pray that God relieves his suffering. Okay, look, if it's a 25-year-old kid, that's not the right prayer, okay? The right prayer is that God restore him so that, that he may continue to glorify God. Okay, but we're talking about somebody that clearly is at the end state of life, okay? And there is no recovery. So this is a wonderful and beautiful prayer that is liberating to the family, okay? And the other thing is that it is the priest that said it, not me. And I'm saying me, a family member, okay? So that does relieve some of the burden, okay? Because they've said, yes, say that prayer. And I'm the one saying the prayer. And again, it's not a magical prayer. It doesn't mean that if I say the prayer, then they're gonna flatline, in the next 30 seconds. Okay, it's up to God. But if you hear the prayer, okay, thou hast ordained remission unto the same through thy love towards mankind, and that this destructible bond which the God of our fathers has sacrificed by the divine will, we ask that this body and soul bond be dissolved, and that his body be dissolved from the elements into which it was fashioned, returned to earth, okay, but that the soul be translated to that place where it shall take up its abode until the second coming. Therefore, we pray to you, O Father, who is from everlasting, okay, and the only begotten Son and your all Holy Spirit, that you deliver Joe from his body into repose, and we ask for the forgiveness of his sins. So this prayer specifically asks that God release his suffering and break that what was originally an indestructible bond from body and soul.
All right. We have a $20 super chat from Joe Jones. I'm not seeing a question attached to that, but this is probably another wonderful thank you for 250 episodes. We really, truly appreciate it. Thank you, Joe. We did skip a question from Miggs. I wanted to address it. How is it possible or not heretical that the Church of the Holy Scepter has a shared space for three religions, Catholicism, Islam, and Orthodoxy? That is a high degree of ecumenism. How does that work?
I have no idea how the Church of the Holy Scepter?
Sepulchre, probably. Is it sepulchre or scepter?
I believe so.
Yeah, but there's not a mosque there.
Yeah, I mispronounced it. Sepulchre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sepulchre. So
I don't remember there being the Islam in there. It's been 30 years since we were there, but I just remember there was a Catholic table there, and then the Orthodox. I don't remember. Maybe it's changed since we were there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the sepulchre was there long before the churches were there. Okay, all right, and the Church of Rome was present and celebrated the Holy Sepulchre just as the Eastern Orthodox Church was there. So I don't see any issue I don't see an issue of ecumenism that both of them are there. Nobody owns the sepulchre, okay, but there'd be no reason to have a mosque there because the sepulchre is nonsense to the Nation of Islam, right? There's no Jesus resurrecting. He was a man. So it wouldn't even make sense.
There's the mosque that's nearby.
There's a mosque, certainly, that's nearby, but not at the sepulchre itself.
Okay.
All right. A couple more, and then we jump to the AMAs.
All right.
All right. From Luke Foreman, what are some things that Orthodoxy and Baptist Christians agree on?
Well, I'll let you take some of that.
Well, go ahead.
Well,
You're the priest. They're asking you.
oh, okay. Well, you were the Baptist, so that's why I'm. All right. Well, okay. I'd say quite a bit. All right. So, as starting from the top, we believe, and where's the here? I think this
You don't
is
have it memorized?
what the creed. Well, okay, but this way I can go through it. Okay.
He has the same fear I do, that the moment you're on the spot and you have to recite what you've memorized, that's the moment you're going to forget the key word or start off a sermon accidentally saying that the Pope is the head of the Orthodox
Is the head of the
Church.
Orthodox Church, exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Who would say that?
So here we go. So I believe in one God. Okay? The Baptists believe that he is the Father, creator of heaven and earth, and of all things visible and invisible, meaning the heavenly and the earthly realm. Baptists would agree with that. And that there is only one Lord, Jesus Christ, who is the only begotten Son of God, who is begotten of the Father before all time. Baptists would agree with that. Okay? That he was begotten and not created, and that he is of one substance or essence with the Father, and that through them everything was made, because that's the Gospel of John. So they would believe in that. That he came for our salvation from heaven and was given humanity. He became incarnate by the Holy Spirit and of the Virgin Mary. Baptists would believe that. He was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered, he died, and was buried. Baptists would believe that. That on the third day he rose, that was prophesied by scriptures. He ascended into heaven. They believe in the ascension, and that he is seated at the right hand of the Father, which, as John says, that he received his glory from the Father. So they would believe that. Okay, that Jesus is coming back in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom shall have no end. They believe in that. That also we believe in the Holy Spirit, who gives life, who also proceeds from the Father, and with the Father and Son is worshiped and glorified, and that worship is only due to the persons of the Trinity. Okay? And then who spoke to the prophets in one holy Catholic, meaning universal, and apostolic church. Okay? So there might be some disagreement in there about what is the apostolic church. Okay? I acknowledge one baptism for the remission of sins. They wouldn't agree with that. Okay? I look for the resurrection of the dead. Yes, they do look for that time when the dead will be resurrected and that the eternal life will come. So out of this whole creed, there was two things that the Baptists necessarily didn't agree with, and 99% of it the Baptists agree with.
All right.
We have a $50 super chat.
Whoa.
From Patty Peterson.
Thank you, Patty.
And my computer is cutting off the message. Well, I'll get back and read it in a couple moments. Presbyter?
All right. From Metalheads, they would like to know the difference between the three-barred cross, the Russian cross,
Oh, yeah.
and the cross that the Orthodox has, and what does it mean as far as the different crosses? Are there multiple versions of Orthodox crosses with different meanings?
Not necessarily different meanings. So the most simple Orthodox cross, and the one that the next one is approved by the military. Well, actually, the simple cross, which is just this, right? Just the cross. That's approved by the military. That is the Christian cross. Okay. And it's just the simplest version of what Christ was crucified on. Okay. The Greek Orthodox cross typically is the one that has the florets on each one of the ends. Okay. Again, a Trinitarian expression. So you'll see the Greek cross, and a lot of times you'll see the blessing cross of the bishops. We'll have the 3 florets on each one of the tips of the cross itself, and that one is also recognized by the United States military, by Department of Defense. And then lastly, you have the Russian cross, which adds elements of historical interest. The top bar is the title that Pilate placed on the top and said, "Here is Jesus Christ, King of the Jews." So this is just a piece of history that says that Pilate put this on, signifying that he is the King of the Jews. And then the bottom one that is tilted is more of legend, that when Jesus Christ gave up his spirit, there was a final bodily jerk with his feet, and that it twisted the foot rest that he had, not a foot rest, but that foot platform, and it twisted it down. Okay, so they're adding a piece of history to that. Okay, in each case, the cross still represents the faith of its expression of the faith of Christianity, and that the cross is a symbol of victory and not a symbol of oppression.
All right. Now everybody's sending a super chat in different languages.
Okay.
So I'm able to see Patty's statement. It's in Greek. Sinharitiria. Congratulations.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. And Costa has a $7 Canadian super chat saying, "Felicitations et merci."
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
so thank you.
So merci, right? Well, it's probably from the Montreal side, eh?
And just
Quebec.
Or
Quebec. Okay.
And right before we're about to jump into AMA, Don Bashmeiser, unless and I hope I pronounced that correctly, unless I missed an earlier bingo, I think he's got it.
Got what?
Bingo.
Oh, bingo. Okay, I was going to say, because we already gave away the book. Okay.
No, he gets a blessing.
Oh, okay. So, Don Pardo?
Don Bachmeyer.
Oh, okay. You don't even know who Don Pardo is, do you?
No, I'm reading the name now.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about.
Oh, you do know who Don
You want to do an announcement?
What? That's right. That's right. It is now 6:05. Wasn't that Don Pardo?
He was a famous announcer. I think I'm right about that.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Okay. Oh, so anyway, to Don, may you have blessings and success, and according to what is God's will into 2026.
Our first bingo on the new board. I love it. And we also have a $5 super chat from B_Ryan asking how to explain to my Catholic friend the Orthodox view that sin is a sickness rather than a loss of a state of grace, particularly before confession.
Boy, record number of, you have to change the bingo card to like 5 times or more.
I probably should.
Or does not get up out of his chair.
Yeah, if a show goes by that I never get out of my chair,
I think
right?
that should be an automatic win.
That's not gonna happen.
I don't think, unless, even when we do the snow day episodes where we're stuck in our bunkers, he still gets out of his chair. He doesn't have a library, but he still does it. So there must be at least one.
All right.
How you doing there?
I am doing good. Give me a second.
I do have a bunch of the AMAs ready.
All right. What is the question?
I can repeat the question. It is from B_Ryan. How to explain to my Catholic friend the Orthodox view that sin is a sickness rather than a loss of a state of grace, particularly before confession.
So I am reading from the compendium, the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Okay, and on page 114. Catechism item 392. What is sin? Now again, Catechism of the Catholic Church. Sin is a word or an act or a desire contrary to the eternal law. Okay, so again, that's very legalistic. Okay, it is an offense against God in disobedience to his love. Again, legalistic. Now, it wounds, did I say that right? Wounds? Yes. Okay. It wounds human nature and injures human solidarity. Christ in his passion fully revealed the seriousness of sin and overcame it with his mercy. So, in the second sentence, it says, it speaks to its damaging disease-like nature. It wounds human nature and injures human solidarity. So the Catholic Church itself talks about the idea that it is a disease, it is a wound that has to be healed.
All right, there have been questions for you to talk about the blue book that everybody's seeing. If you can raise it up and just give us a blurb about it.
Huh? Oh, so
hold it up a little bit more so they can see.
Okay. So we didn't really have within the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese here in America a standard book on how to introduce a new catechumen. It's pretty much been left to each individual priest to decide what he's going to do. And the vast majority of times what I see is they provide them a history book and they talk about the theology of Orthodoxy, which is okay, which is good. But as I mentioned earlier in the show, what is important to most of them is not just what is the Orthodox Church, but what do I do when I go to the Orthodox Church? What kinds of services do you have? Why do you have those services? How should I dress when I come? How do I make the sign of the cross? What's this chanting thing that I hear about? How is that different from choir? So I meant this book, or wrote this book, for the practical aspects of Orthodoxy. This is not a history book. Yes, there's a timeline in the beginning about how Orthodoxy came into being from the times of the early church, how it developed specifically in America, because the catechumens are from America, so they want to know. But most of this is comprised around how do I be Orthodox, and then what are the sacraments? What do I have to do, and why are they sacraments? Because again, coming out of a Protestant tradition where most of them are coming, they only have the two sacraments. And even then, they don't really understand the sacramental nature of what makes a sacrament a sacrament. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about the subject that nobody wants to talk about, which is death and dying. Is how do we treat those who are dying? And how do we die? And what does an Orthodox funeral look like? And why can't we cremate? And what's going to happen after I die? And so that's why I label this handbook, because I wanted to provide practical application for how to be Orthodox.
Dennis is asking how much it is.
This particular copy is $250. The hardcover is $500. No, I think, what is it? $12.95?
I think so.
Yeah,
it's on Amazon.
Amazon, $12.95.
Oh, and also it has wonderful iconography on the back.
Yeah, I wonder who took that picture.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And the front, as you saw. So.
All right. Well, we have a bunch of AMA questions. I would ask that, if we didn't get to your question tonight, we're live practically every week on Thursday at 7 p.m. So save those questions and we'll be answering those. Next time, we'll get through as much of the AMAs as possible. At this time, I'll probably ask to suspend asking any more questions. Otherwise, we'll be here for 3 hours.
We'll be here for 250
because you guys have great questions. Our chat, our viewers is what makes the show possible.
Sure, right.
So, from Ryan Pellejo, why did you choose to become a priest instead of a deacon or a lay leader?
Well, actually, in the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese, you don't get a lot of choice. We don't really need deacons. What we need is priests, because unlike the Catholic Church, a deacon really can't do a whole lot. You know, they can't do anything that invokes a blessing. What?
It's a great advertisement for the deacon program. We don't need deacons. We do.
Well, I mean, deacons have a purpose in the church, certainly. Okay, but we have empty parishes. Okay, and yeah, I know. My apologies to all the deacons out there.
They are important. They are very
yes.
important. They help the priests in many ways, but the priests may be slightly more in demand.
Yeah,
but
that's
we
the
love
way.
our deacons, and we do need our deacons.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Deacons are not in demand as much as priests. That's the way to say it. Okay. All right. See, this is why Presbyteria is here. Okay. So when I became a deacon, I was only a deacon for 3 days because there was a parish that was waiting to have a priest. And since in the Orthodox Church, a deacon cannot offer a blessing, and since every sacrament invokes a blessing, there's really not a lot that the deacon can do. The deacon does have some very important roles, but typically it's done together in synergy with the priest.
Also, what are all of our favorite foods? Starting with Presbyter.
Favorite foods. Oh my gosh. You mean like I love Italian.
Like edible, yes.
We should make this like the
Edible.
with the newlywed game. You know, what is Presbyteria's favorite food? And then she has like a card, and then she holds it up for those that watch the newlywed game. Okay.
Yes. So Italian, but we also have this wonderful cookbook that we found when we were staying in an Airbnb called Jerusalem.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
it's all the foods of the different ethnicities that are in Jerusalem. And so I would say Italian first, followed closely by Middle Eastern and chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, okay. All right. Mine? Oh,
Yeah.
Rice and beans. Okay. I can do rice and beans every single day. I love rice and beans. So, and you put a little chicken in there, rosco pollo, and that's, man, I'm in heaven. Now, add to that bamias, okay, but not with tomatoes. So,
Explain what bamias are.
Okra. So, not fried okra. I mean, fried okra is not bad, but like, what? How is that?
Stewed?
Stewed okra, but not in tomato sauce, in like that, olive oil and basil. So that's in fact, that's a requirement. I cannot be the priest of a parish that does not have someone that makes bamias. Okay, so that's
And
Well, I
Dimos?
guess
I know it's not tomatoes.
Yes, I'm slightly allergic to tomatoes. Well, I think I'm gonna make Richard Rudolph's day. I'm gonna do the face reveal. We've had a lot of great super chats.
Wow.
It's been building up. I can't think of a better time to do this than episode 250.
I'm watching.
So,
This is delayed.
Yeah, that's delayed by like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, it's not much of a. Don't build it up too much. People might run and scream.
Are you going to show your face, or is Carrie Grant's face going to pop up?
should. I really should. I should have like a censored bar right over. No. All right. So here we are. Hello, everyone. Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. My favorite food: anything my wife makes.
Wow.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, smart answer.
Wow. Okay.
But in reality, steak.
Steak's good.
Steak
we
is
just had
good.
the other
Steak is
night.
very good.
Yes.
All right. So from Costa, which part of Greece are your roots?
I don't have any roots from Greece.
Well, you're from northern Greece, Scotland, right? That's your roots, is northern Greece, and mine is from the island of Chios,
And
which again is the only island that mastika comes from.
you can chew on that.
Yes, you can
Yes.
chew on that. That's
A
right.
long time.
And I am from the islands. I'm on the island boy. I'm a Greek island boy. So for me, it's Crete.
Crete.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, we have Everett's Workshop, who wants to know which Orthodox writers and thinkers have been most influential in each of your lives. And that's the first part.
Which Orthodox thinkers? Well, as I mentioned earlier, St. John Damascus, probably right up on top. Probably St. Basil would be next. and then I'd have to say Father Alexander Schmemann.
All right. And my wife. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Do you have an Orthodox thinker that?
You.
As my boss, I concur. My wife would like to ask Presbytera if she has any words of encouragement for a wife wanting to be a good Orthodox example to her non-Orthodox family and friends.
Well, let's see. I would just say there is a famous, I don't know if it's famous, but there's a saying, preach the gospel at all times, if necessary, use words. So I would just say it is all the women that I've admired, that I look up to in Orthodoxy, just how they are in everyday life, you know.
Not all their conversations and talking.
No,
and how you treat other people and trying to think what else I want to say on that. But would you say this? You'd say the same thing for the military wives that you looked up to, right? Not all the ones that were bragging and using the husband's rank and all that, but those that showed the characters of what it means to be a military wife, right? So I mean, I think the same thing happened in the military too.
Yeah.
All right. From Miggs, I'm very excited about the live-action He-Man coming this summer. In fact, the trailer just dropped this morning. For the three of you, what was your favorite cartoon growing up, and is there anyone that you'd like to see a live-action adaptation of?
Gosh, favorite cartoon.
Oh, well, I mean, that's pretty much...
Growing up?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
What?
Bugs Bunny.
Oh.
Would you really want to see
live.
No, that's fine. That's the answer to the first one. But which one would you like to see as a live action? Is the second part? And I just imagined a live action Bugs Bunny. It was probably not going to have the same.
No, I mean, bringing cartoon characters to life usually is pretty depressing. I mean, it just doesn't.
It can't. It just it.
The best way you can do it is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but they're still cartoons.
Yeah.
Okay, or Jim Carrey, The Mask. I like the way those cartoon characters, he kind of brought them to life. That was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, it was an homage, the Tex Avery homage.
Yes, right.
Because The Mask was based on a comic, and a very violent comic, actually.
Oh,
really?
okay. Yeah.
As an Orthodox priest, he wouldn't like that comic.
You wouldn't? Okay, got it. All right. But yeah, the Tex Avery stuff that he did, I thought was really hilarious.
So my problem with that is that my favorite cartoon as a kid actually had one of the best live-action adaptations of a cartoon property, and that was...
Johnny Quest?
No, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The original 1990 independent film was very, very well done. For a kid's product, for something as stupid as turtles becoming life-size and learning from a rat and fighting in the streets, it was as good as you can do.
I liked Bullwinkle.
Yeah. Okay.
Bullwinkle was my favorite, but no, Johnny Quest I could see that as a live action.
Yeah, and when you brought that up, it made me think, because the thing I liked about Johnny Quest was, you could, as a kid, that was the kind of dad that you'd want, right? The action-packed dad. He was the scientist, and then you'd want Race Bannon, as your...
His dad wasn't that action-packed in the beginning.
Oh, he was kind of... Oh, okay.
It was Race Bannon,
It was Race, okay.
Miggs goes on to say, the fact that Father knows where to find each book he needs when a question is asked is awesome. How do you categorize?
Oh, let me see. You don't.
Yeah, actually,
he just knows where they are.
Yeah, I just, somebody will say, hey, you got to get this book, and then I'll get it, and then I'll then I'll read it, put it back up on the shelf, or I'll tell you what's really helped me is Bible study. Is because, we'll be doing a Bible study and then they'll quote these works and I'm like, I got to have that book because there's such great stuff in it. So a lot of these have come from the fact that Bible study has led me to some of these books. And because, I bought all the books, then I kind of know where each one of them are. I try to arrange them like history, commentary, and then theology. So that's kind of my 3 areas.
All right, Cooking with B-Bug, what is your favorite liturgy to serve, St. John or St. Basil?
Oh, St. John. St. John. Prayers are really long. St. Basil. They're good prayers, but St. John Chrysostom is, I can almost do blindfolded.
Let's try that out Sunday.
Yeah, let's do that Sunday. I'll blindfold myself and we'll see.
From Raven Giuliani, who's already sent the email in for her winning, wants to know, what's everyone's favorite ice cream flavor and pie?
Ooh, key lime pie.
And ice cream?
Ice cream? Salted caramel.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So mine is definitely coffee ice cream. Okay, except for growing up, it was the 3. What was that thing called? The
Neapolitan.
The Neapolitan, right? And everybody would eat the chocolate and then leave
Well,
the
and
rest.
the vanilla too, but the strawberry was always left.
It was always left there. So I don't know what
Marge,
we
we're out of time.
Right, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. That's right.
And Demos, your favorite?
Well, did you say your pie?
My pie?
Oh, you didn't say your pie. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
It's probably my
Columbo.
least. It's my least.
Yeah, it's her least
my
favorite.
least favorite pie. In fact, I never eat it, but I think it's your favorite is pecan.
Yeah, that was because in college at 7-Eleven, they would sell these
The
mini
pecan twirls. Those are awesome.
What? Yeah, little pecan pies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that would be dinner a lot of times. So
And yours?
All right, and mine, I like caramel ice cream is probably my favorite. I love caramel ice cream, and this is a cheat. I'm gonna go with pizza pie.
Oh, that is
pizza
a
pie.
cheat.
That is a cheat.
Come on.
All right, well, okay, cinnamon apple pie.
Cinnamon
you
apple
have to
pie.
have enough cinnamon in it.
Yes, cinnamon apple pie
Yeah.
is good.
All right, yeah, I'm asking the questions. Here we go. From Dennis, this isn't so much a question, it's a statement about me. Demos means the people, from the Greek Demosthenes, that is correct, who is a master of persuasion and an excellent public speaker, I wish. I would go further. Demosthenes also means vigor of the people.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Thank you so much there, Dennis. From Gomi, Father, how did you know being a priest was your calling? Did you have any doubts? And how were those doubts resolved?
So as I mentioned earlier, someone brought not the second part of the question, but the first part. I did not know or have any idea that I wanted to be a priest. I didn't grow up with it. I don't have anybody in the family that is clergy, but I had a good spiritual father that recognized something in me and was able to cultivate it. Okay, so that's how I was brought into the priesthood. And the second part of the question, which was not answered
Did you
before.
have any doubts?
So, yes, I mean, even St. John Chrysostom, when he wrote on the priesthood, he speaks about, his doubts about being able to raise himself to the mantle of God, to the point that he tricked St. Basil into becoming a priest because they were supposed to be a priest together. And then he says, come on, I'm going to be a priest with you. Don't worry, we'll be a priest together. And then St. Basil got ordained, and then St. John Chrysostom backed out, and then St. Basil was mad. So this whole on the priesthood. Right? So certainly he had doubts. I think that if you don't if you don't have doubts about taking on this mantle that you will be judged for in the end, you're not being judged as a layman. You're being judged for what you did to the flock that's been entrusted to you. That is an extremely fearful thing. And certainly there's doubts about whether you're up to that challenge, and those doubts can come up on a daily basis about, did I say the right thing to this person? Was the confession that not the advice, I don't want to say advice, but the counseling that I gave, was it correct? Should I have done something more? Did I fail to visit somebody? There's always something that you're not doing right. So yes, doubt really lives in there. Now, as much as I say doubt lives in there, have I ever considered that this was not the right thing to do? Not once. Not once did I ever second guess and go, oh man, this was not the right thing for me to do. So there's a difference between second guessing myself as a priest, but having doubts about whether I am up to the challenge of being a representative for Christ.
All right. And the second part, what's everyone's favorite music genre? Presbytera?
Well, I like all kinds of music.
Yeah, she does.
I do. I like a lot. Not every genre, but I think if I could only listen to two, I can't narrow it down to one. I would say jazz and blues.
Nice.
So mine is jazz. No. No.
You know, when we met, he told me, oh yeah, I love jazz. He knew nothing about jazz.
I did. I know Stanley Clark. Because I kept saying,
he thought everybody was Stanley Clark.
Who's that? Stanley
He thought
Clark?
Santana was Stanley Clark. I mean,
well, you know, I
really.
wanted to impress her. You know, I mean, oh yeah, she liked jazz.
Some of those letters are the same.
yeah.
No, for me. So I, if you look at my Pandora station, okay, you're going to find two things, okay, which Terry says, you know, you could expand your musical library, but I don't, because I have two stations. One station is the Rat Pack station, so it's Frankie Dean and
You're asking me?
oh yeah,
Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Keys, and Sammy Davis Jr. So Bing Crosby is on there. So I really love a lot of that stuff. But my second station is 1960s and specifically 1970s. So I really do love that. However, I would not be truthful if I did not say that there was a 7-year period in college
I'm
where.
embarrassed. Don't say it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, where I listened to quite a bit of disco music. I liked it. I mean, well, I was a roller skating fiend. So I was the disco roller king. I loved that, man. I loved roller skating in discotheques.
The disco priest.
A disco, yes.
Yeah.
But classic rock for me is right behind that.
The classic rock is
Yeah.
right. Okay.
I think Santa Man 1 is disappointed that your answer wasn't Klingon opera.
Klingon
Is there
opera.
such a thing?
Well, in the show.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably out there on YouTube somewhere. I am going to look that up, Santa Man 1.
I don't know if you ever heard it on the show. If you have, it's probably DS9 where you may have heard it. But
Does it sound like they're just yelling at each other?
oh, I mean, there's a lot of baritone. I can guess that. All right. My favorite. Oh, I'm eclectical. Like if you look at my mix, it's you'll find classical, you'll find film scores, you'll find. Well, it's not what Richard is guessing because he was guessing that I like bubblegum pop like Justin Bieber or
no.
hardcore metal like Mayhem.
Wow.
I would
okay.
say Billy Joel.
I love Billy Joel. Billy Joel's my favorite. I would I would say I'm not a fan of anything that sounds like somebody is constipated in a construction yard. That's screaming kind of. I don't like that. I never have. But give me Billy Joel. Give me classical. Give me 80s. I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
All right. And one final question. So this isn't really It was listed as AMA incorrectly, but I thought it was an interesting question to kind of end on. And this is from Dennis, who asked if there is a person or a near death experience returning to life and saying they were told they were not saved because they were not Orthodox. If you've ever heard of any example like that.
I have not. Orthodoxy is fairly skeptical of that, the whole coming back near death experience, because again, it could be a number of different things, and the vast majority of the time, everything is great, right?
What are you saying, that the Orthodox are skeptical of near-death experiences, or are you saying people who say they died, went to heaven, and came back? That's two different things.
Yeah, maybe that's okay. That second one.
If I may say so, though, if they came back, that means they didn't go through judgment, so they wouldn't be told that they were saved or not.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. You're right, because they haven't gone through second. Right, everybody gets judged at the second coming.
Yeah.
Right, so they wouldn't know if they're in heaven. Right. Yeah. Okay. Good point. Very theological of you there. Ooh.
It's because I put myself on camera. It just happened. I don't know what's going on. And in fact, a lot of people shared some of their favorite foods and so forth. Although I liked what somebody mentioned up here. Yeah, Migs. Dolce de leche ice cream with caramel swirl.
That sounds good.
That sounds like a dream right there.
Now, Terry mentioned Italian, so I do want to say that probably one of my favorite restaurant foods is Thai. I will pretty much always pick Thai. I love Thai food.
I think I went with you the first time I ever had Thai food.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It was excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, that ends it for tonight. We went, I think this might be our longest
we're not going to get to
we went over 2 hours.
Ooh, geez.
Wow.
Okay.
It flew by, though.
Yeah, it went by pretty quick. Again, I want to thank our special guest Scott for the congratulations on the 250th show. We're very appreciative of that, and again, I guess we're moving on to another 250, possibly, right?
I would love it. So I would love it. I want to personally thank all of our viewers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll put myself on camera. I want to thank all of our viewers who have supported the show, who have supported us, who have been there. We couldn't do this without you. Our mission statement has been spreading the good news, and Father Angelo has been a credible spokesman for Orthodoxy, and to stay tuned for more fun to come.
Well, just think about it. What if we didn't have an audience? This would be kind of a boring show. We'd just the three of us be talking to one another. Hey, got a question to ask? So, I mean, pretty much need an audience.
You would talk if you were alone.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm getting at. And I would be remiss if I didn't call out Richard Rudolph, who always says like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Richard.
And little Richard.
And little Richard and little Lynn. And there is, I threw Father Maggos out into the snowstorm today to film next week's virtual Sunday school. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yes.
I did let him back in.
Yeah. So, but he did keep me out there in the snow. Yes, he did. So.
And people want to know why I look like they're mental images of me. I never thought about that. Do people look like they sound?
They never do.
Never.
Ever. I've never seen somebody and said, you look exactly like I thought you would, ever.
Well, thank you all for the support. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot of guys thought that I looked like Rock Hudson, but they were disappointed. Yeah. On my voice, just, they thought
I have so many puns I can say right now, but for the sake of time. All right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Night.
Good night.
See you soon. Good night, everyone.